We'll call your attention. We are, just for the record, we're streaming this live, and I'm super good at technology, so it's going to be perfect. So I want to welcome you all here this afternoon. As mentioned, we are, of course, here to celebrate Jeff and his many years of service here at Camp Falaqua. We're not going to take too much of your time. We really do want to focus on you having the opportunity to visit and spend time around the table together, but we have to say a few things. We just have to. So we're going to start. I'm going to invite Keith Retzlaff up, and he's going to speak on behalf of Mennonite Church Alberta.
Well, Jeff, I've got some good news and some bad news for you. The bad news is, unfortunately, Tim couldn't make it today. He's at some MC Canada-US meetings. The good news is I speak a lot less than Tim. But MCA wanted to recognize you. As far as I can tell, researching back, you will be the longest serving MCA employee. And that's going back quite a few years. So congratulations on that. That's quite a milestone. And to work at a camp for 28 years is pretty amazing. I haven't been able to work with you directly, but you have worked with my daughter for the last 2 years. So I've heard a lot of what you've done. And I think it's a testament to the number of staff that are here today, the impact you've had on those people. And I just want to thank you for that. And as a token of our appreciation, we got you some coffee. Didn't know which ones you liked, but I got some fair trade coffee from Villages. One is Extreme Trailblazer, and the other is Bundle Up. I thought they were both good camp themes. So congratulations on 28 years, and all the best in wherever things take you next.
So that's Keith Retzlaff. Keith is the moderator of Mennonite Church Alberta. I'm going to invite Catherine up. She's going to speak on behalf of the camp committee here at Camp Falaqua.
All right. I'm feeling a little emotional, so you'll just have to bear with me, please. Yeah, I might bumble a little, and I don't think I can look in this direction, so I'll be looking at all of you. So welcome everyone. My name is Catherine Friesen. I am the co-chair of the camp committee along with Christine Hansland. We have actually all our official camp committee members here, so if you want to put up your hands so I don't forget anyone. Noah and Liam and Daryl, Christine, and who am I missing? Oh, John. And Jeff, technically. All right. I don't know why they let me come up here. And I've been asked on behalf of the committee to say a few things to extend our gratitude to Jeff for 28 years of exceptional service to Camp Falaqua. And out of respect for Jeff's wishes, as John mentioned, we aren't doing a lot of speeches. We're not going to go on, but we have to go on a little. And I hope we strike the right balance and you don't hate me after this. So I've had the privilege of knowing Jeff since he started work here. And like so many of you, it's really hard for me to imagine driving into camp without the anticipation of looking for Jeff's white truck to see if he's here, or walking past his office and peeking in to see if he's sitting in his chair so we can have a chat, or working back in the kitchen and hearing the back door open and looking over to see Jeff with his poker straight posture and his warm smile, greeting me with a, "Hey, Catherine." When Jeff first told me he was planning to resign as camp manager, it was all these thoughts that filled my head. But then I looked over at Jeff, and Anna was sitting there too, and I realized they're so happy with this decision, and this is the right decision for Jeff. And I quickly realized how selfish I was being. And this isn't the first event or time that I've had that type of experience with Jeff or Ing for that matter. And I think it's because over the many generations of camp staff, Jeff and Ing have been so generous and welcoming, making us feel so special, so cared for. And so we get a bit caught off guard when we're in the reverse situation. Oh, right now, I need to be here to support Jeff, not vice versa. I recall the first summer that Jeff and Ing worked at camp. It was 1997, and my partner Dan and I were working here at the time. And we were introduced to this new family who were the camp managers. And I remember finding it incredibly striking to watch Ing, this strong, talented woman, doing everything with Sasha, her baby, on her shoulders, and 3 children, Anna, Nico, Eli, in tow, following her around like ducklings. And Jeff, as seems to be his nature, remained very understated. Of course, that's my perspective, and perhaps being a young woman, I was really looking to someone like Ing because she was such an incredible role model. So maybe he stood out, but I didn't notice. Their presence at Belacqua that summer felt a bit fleeting. It had a feeling of we're just passing through to figure out what the next thing is in our lives. However, by their 3rd summer here, that feeling had all but vanished. Projects were being tackled, buildings fixed up and beautified, and more importantly, the nature of Jeff and Ing's presence, along with their 4 kids, began to permeate every inch of this beautiful land. You could feel it, and we wanted to be a part of it. We were so honored to be a part of it. Jeff recently remarked that it was the lifestyle that working at Belacqua has to offer. That was one of the big draws for him and Ing. And we could see that they really embraced that lifestyle. And, seemingly rejecting a lot of the expectations that society puts on us. They were going to live this lifestyle and do their thing. And it was this solid foundation. You could feel the love, the peace, creativity, thoughtfulness, and it drew so many of us in. And from the outside, we could see this family completing tasks, cleaning up after floods, felling trees, planting gardens, painting walls, keeping honeybees, stripping buildings, restoring buildings, and stripping more buildings, replacing roofs, marking the first arrival of the robin in the spring, adoring insects, abhorring skunks. That might just be Jeff, I don't know. And looking back on it as an external observer with a deep love and admiration for this family, their way of living seems like a miracle. And looking around here and thinking back on Jeff's 28 years at Belacqua, hearing what people are saying about him, reading the words in the warm fuzzies, it's really telling that people aren't talking about Jeff's incredible skills in maintaining and keeping up this property. People are talking about how he makes them feel. And I can see all the different generations, all the different generations of camp staff who have been impacted by by Jeff, and if you're fortunate enough, Jeff and Aim, and their beautiful embodiment of generosity and gentleness. And I can see that so many of us have taken that into our own lives as we build our families or build our own futures, and a part of them is with us in every step we take, and their impact may seem small, but the ripple effect is enormous. It's so evident here, Jeff, that though you are quiet and understated, you are truly beloved by so many, not just for your many talents in filling this role, but for you alone. So those are mostly my words. And I was asked to speak on the camp committee. So the camp committee, we wanted to do something as a gesture in honor of Jeff and his great service, so we were thinking through what we might be able to do. And we decided it would be nice to maybe get him a piece of artwork and to engage maybe a former staff member in creating that piece of art. So we reached out to Kurt Weed and asked if he would prepare a piece of art, and he jumped at the chance. So I'm just going to pull it up. So on behalf of thanks. On behalf of the camp committee, we want to present this painting by Kurt Weed, not by Jeff. And Kurt did write a little note, he wrote like a really long letter. I won't read it all, but I'm going to read a lot of it because he's really eloquent, and it's I think speaks to Jeff really well. So dear Jeff, my first memory of you involves a grocery shopping trip. Those of us in leadership positions, and I know Dan is here, me and Amanda, we're all there that summer. We're at the camp to prep for summer, and as there was no cook yet, we were told to go and buy groceries for our meals. Your advice to us, as you handed over the camp credit card, was that we shouldn't settle for the off-brand mac and cheese. Get the good stuff, you said. Having just met you, this small line told me who you are. Someone who has a sense of humor, who, under his quiet demeanor, could be a little rebellious, maybe even irreverent, but most importantly, you were someone who was on my side. You were definitely on the side of the creative forces swirling about Velaqua in those golden years. You supported all my wild ideas for building props and let me use the workshop to build them. Out of that workshop came a prop hot air balloon made out of a medicine ball and rebar, a time machine jukebox made out of a garbage pail and included a working coin slot complete with bell noise and flashing lights. And, of course, a bear-proof suit, inspired by the classic documentary Project Grizzly, made out of plastic pails and other found items. I remember you helping us problem solve when constructing these things. When we, the staff, were frantically trying to get something to work, you would often show up and with your calm demeanor make a suggestion that would keep the dream alive and help see the project to completion. At the end of my tenure at Velaqua, you gifted me the pair of old horn-rimmed safety glasses that I frequently wore, not only for practical reasons, but also as a costume item for skits. This support of my creativity helped me become the artist I am today, and I could honestly say I would not be doing what I am doing if it were not for my experiences at Velaqua. You were an integral part of that, Jeff, one of the support structures to the scaffolding of my ever-growing creative practice. Besides this, to me and many of the other camp staff, you and AIM were our role models, our friends, and your house was a haven from the chaos and intensity that camp could often be. I remember several times, and I know this is many generations' experience, going to your house for some sort of camp business, being greeted with a genuine smile, and leaving with a hot cup of coffee that was miles better than the stuff the staff brewed in the lodge. You have been given a painting I made featuring a Douglas fir tree backlit by a falling meteor. The inspiration for this painting has several sources, all related to my experiences at camp and my thoughts about you and your ongoing life journey. About a month ago, Catherine got in touch with me, told me of your impending departure from your position as camp manager, and asked if I would make a piece of art for you as a gift. Of course I would, but what would I make? One of the things that immediately popped up in my mind was the print of a painting by Emily Carr that I had first seen in your house, the old manager's residence at Camp Palakwa. It was posted on the wall above the basement stairs, I think, and was the first thing I would see when entering the house. I was struck by it. A tall coniferous tree that is mostly trunked with only a small cluster of branches at the top of its length stands before a sky of billowing clouds. The title, Scorned as Timber, Beloved of the Sky. I've always liked this painting, not only for its stark beauty, but for the poetry of the title and the meanings it implied. The next thing I thought of was the time I and several other camp staff saw a meteor. We were on a night walk somewhere near the Faith Retreat Center when the sky lit up. Looking up to the tree line, I saw a bright white ball of light falling behind the pines, spruce, illuminating them up from behind like a falling sun. That moment, like the Emily Carr painting, was burned into my memory. I took these two images and used them as inspiration for the painting given to you. I have titled it Beholder. I have thoughts around what sort of significance it might have related to you and your time at camp. The tree could be you. The meteor could be those bright memories of camp like the ones I have shared. Memories that have lasting significance that will be burned in your mind forever. Maybe you see something else. Who is the beholder? Is it the tree, the meteor, or is it the one viewing the painting? And what about that title? It's no scorned as timber, but it seems to fit. To behold something is different than to simply see it. To behold something implies impact to the one witnessing the event. I'm curious to know what lies ahead for you, Jeff. I'm excited for the new experiences you will discover on this new leg of your life's journey. But whatever you do and wherever you go, you must know that Palakwa and those like me who have worked there have been deeply impacted by your presence, and that you must have been impacted by Palakwa as well. I'm sorry I'm not able to help you celebrate in person, but I'm honored to be able to contribute to this momentous event in this way. Happy trails, Jeff. Until we meet again, love, Kurt.
Sorry, I'm a mess.
We were just debating whether we'd make Jeff come up and get it, but we got agreement. Yeah. Thank you to Kurt for the amazing piece of art. Thank you, Catherine, for those words. I'm going to speak, I guess, on behalf of camp staff. And there are a lot of camp staff in this room, some current, some past, some long past, but lots and lots of connections through this camp community. Well, on a personal note, Jeff, I knew you wouldn't do this job forever, but I'll admit that I hoped you might. It has been my great honor and pleasure to work with you over and share a small piece of your life for these almost 20 years. We have both literally and figuratively shared mountaintops and valley bottoms. I know many of you already know this, but this man right here, this Jeff Schellenberg, is a legend here at Camp Palakwa. To paraphrase the kids, some of them are sitting at the table right here, he is deep in the Palakwa lore.
Okay.
Yeah, Anything cool that I have ever done personally at Camp Falaqua has always fallen into the gravitational well of Jeff's cool. Jeff is so cool that when the male staff in about, I think it was 2007 or maybe 2008, decided that they needed like an ultimate cool scale to measure their camp's accomplishments against, they invented the beef scale. Beef scale was 0 to 10. 10 was the beefiest. 10 was like super, super awesome. Jeff Schellenberg is a 10. That was the standard. I'm not even making that up. I was a 7. I'll take it. 15 years and 15 pounds ago, I had the high mark on the impossible wall, which was what we called it at the time, which is the backside of the climbing wall. It was a problem that was put up and never climbed. And I had the high mark. I climbed the highest of anyone else. A few years later, I overheard a staff saying to another staffer, "Nobody's made it to the top yet, but Jeff Schellenberg made it up to that hole right there." As I said, every cool thing I ever did eventually became part of Jeff's story. Side part of that story is the first person to climb all the way to the top of that without falling was Eli Schellenberg. So that's part of the lore too. It was almost exactly 19 years ago that I walked into this building and shook your hand for the first time. You and Ingrid made me and my family feel welcomed and wanted. Ingrid and Jeff were so good at hosting, are so good at hosting, both here at camp and in their lovely home. I remember clearly the feeling that you imparted to me, the feeling of, oh, thank goodness you're here. It felt so special, it felt so important, it made me feel so valued. And that has not in any way been diminished by the fact that I see you extend that feeling to everybody who walks through these doors. You made all of us feel that we are an important part of this community, an important chapter in the story that we are writing together. A few summers ago, a group of staff, some of them are sitting right over here, got up early one morning and went to Jeff's house. They didn't call ahead, they didn't make a plan. They just showed up on your door at 7 in the morning. One of them knocked, the others hid behind you because they were scared. You invited them in. You made them lattes. I'm not recommending that any of you show up at Jeff's house unannounced at 7 in the morning, but I bet if you did, he'd make you a coffee. Welcome is in your bones. You've also been a positive role model to so many young folks. I think about Ingrid doing pull-ups on the crossbar on the swing set right over there, and out pulling up all the young men who are challenging her. I think about generations of young folks who learn to clean the toilet's feet, or how to mop the floor in a figure-8 pattern. I think about the books you have recommended and the poetry you have shared. You and Ingrid both showed us that you can be strong and sensitive. Young women learned that they can be strong, and young men learned that they can feel the words of Mary Oliver. This may be a surprise to some, but Jeff here is likely the most feared person in our summer camp program. It is a source of almost endless amusement to me that summer staff find Jeff intimidating, because I know the truth. I have watched you soften when your nephew or niece approach. I have seen you turn to putty in the hands of your grandkids. I know your core is love. The love you have put into this world is reflected in your kids, all of which it was our great privilege and honor to watch grow and to work with. All of you have been on staff with us at some point. So thank you. Thank you. There aren't adequate words to reflect 28 years of laughter and tears and sweat and love you have offered us all, but it will have to do. Jeff is a person more comfortable in the background, and I went through about 3 decades worth of pictures to find, I think, 6 pictures that had Jeff in them. He might be smiling at you too, but I'm just saying, if there's ever a picture to be taken, Jeff wants to be the one holding the camera. He's quick to volunteer, to be in the kitchen. He's quick to offer to do dishes, and it was just so appropriate that when I first tried to say thank you to him at the beginning, he was hiding in the office. I know this has all made you supremely uncomfortable, and I thank you for your patience with it, so I suppose we'll leave it there. Thank you, Jeff. For all you've done for us, you will be missed more than you know. I have a small... I'm sure there aren't enough things in your life that say Camp Falaqua on them. The joke always in camp world is that it's an extensive benefit plan, free t-shirts for life. So we always have a lot of branded merch, but Jeff, I made hats with you in mind. The staff thought those ones were cooler, but I thought Jeff would like these. So I have a hat for you, and I know this is like, again, it somehow seems appropriate. I have a Camp Falafel apron we'll present to you too. So we'll leave those with you for the man who has done so many dishes, who has supported us in so many ways for so many years. I want to say thank you. Maybe. I told Jeff I'd leave it open whether he wanted to talk or not. He's coming up here, you guys.
He does not, but he does. So I'm going to try to get through this. So I wrote 2 pages, but it's big font. So don't worry, it's not that long. So thank you all for being here. I'm kind of overwhelmed. I'm humbled and I'm flattered. Thanks for making the effort to be here today. It means a lot. So I just have a few other words of thanks and gratitude I wanted to say. I would like to say just that I'm offering these words not just for myself, but on behalf of Ingrid as well. She was involved here for 18 years and she loved this place deeply, as I think we heard from a couple of the other speakers here. I think I can presume to speak for my kids too, for this Balacqua undertaking of ours is very much a family undertaking. So I'm so happy that they're all here today too, with the exception of our daughter-in-law Bethany, who couldn't make it. Not only did they quite literally grow up here, they all worked here, CRTs, counselors, maintenance helpers, nature leaders, everything, kind of. So Balacqua's been a huge part of not just my life, but all of our lives. And not that we planned it that way. We moved back here from Winnipeg in 1996 to do this job for 1 year, max 2 years. So, and here we are, 28 years on. So I'd like to express my appreciation not only to all of you in this room, but also to the people of MCA generally who've been so supportive and encouraging of me personally, but more importantly of Camp Falafel generally. I don't think I have to convince any of you what a special resource this place is for MCA, and that I find a very hopeful thing for Balacqua's future. This place thrives because of the efforts of so many people beyond just those of us that are employed here. We're so fortunate to have the efforts of so many volunteers who come to work days, help out in the kitchen, in summer, and support the camp in all kinds of different ways. Some, they're all here, also serve as members of the camp committee. And they provide support, guidance, direction. They volunteer many hours of their time to keep this place going. And their efforts and support and encouragement are really invaluable. So I want to extend thanks to all of them as well. For the past 28 years, there's been a lot of camp committee members. Some that aren't on the current committee are here too, so lots of you. And of course, camp would be nothing without our spring and summer staff. Lots of the current ones here, and lots of old ones are here too. I can call you old now, some of you. They really are the lifeblood of this place. They bring enthusiasm, energy, fun, devotion, commitment, and also lots of hard work. Each year I'm so impressed by them. So in addition to our counseling and leadership staff, I have to mention our cooks. What a job that is to prepare food for 100 or so people every day for a couple of months. And to do that with grace and good humor, that just kind of blows me away every year. I think that job would kill me. So, two of our real stars are here today, Louisa, whoever she is, and Helen. And thank you again, Helen, for this amazing meal. It's so nice, so generous of you. It really has been a privilege to work alongside all of our summer staff over the years, and I'm happy to still call many of them friends. MCA is really blessed each year by their devotion to this place. So many thanks to all of you. It's good to finally be outlasted by a director. after we managed to outlast 3 of them. So I've been lucky to work alongside Tim Benita-Weedufel, Trevor and Nikki Berg, and Don and Tanya Dick Steinman, and for the past 19 years, John and Nikki. Being the only 2 year-round employees, John and I see a lot of each other. So, luckily that's been a good thing. It's worked out. We've watched each other's families grow up, and we've been there with each other for some hard times, and also lots of very good times too. So many of those were reflected in this slideshow, John. Just some really good memories. I've seen and appreciated firsthand John's thoughtful leadership of young people, including my own kids, his wisdom, compassion, and cool head in a crisis. MCA is fortunate to have both he and Nikki here. I'm going to miss working with you, John, but more, I'm going to miss lots of the other stuff we saw here, and even just shooting a breeze with you on some random afternoon in the office. And Nikki, I'm going to miss getting the inside scoop on all the staff relationship training. I may have to pop by occasionally just to get caught up. So anyway, I wanted to say thanks, John and Nikki, for your support, encouragement, love, and friendship toward both Lee and I and our kids these past 20 years. So yeah, I'll just stand and say it's just been an immense privilege for me to serve here at Camp Blackwood these past 20 years. Thanks.
We will leave our formal program then. So I want to thank you for coming. Encourage you to spend some time, drop by, see if you can make Jeff cry. It's the challenge of the afternoon. No, not that. Please, if you haven't signed Jeff's Warm Fuzzy, please do that before you depart today. And because it's camp, there are also calendars for sale if you're interested in purchasing one of those. But yeah, thank you so much for attending today and for all the love that you bring to this community year over year. And thank you, Jeff.